All right, let's get back into the Peter Wright story. Last look at this, because what we want to do is take it forward and what it means now for the competition. Roll the videotape. Lloydie, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, Eddie, that I thought he was in trouble as soon as it happened. I felt for Peter, because you're in a position where you're fully committed and then you get there and you go, oh, no, I can't really get there. So you do brace and protect yourself, but in this situation, you can't turn and brace. You got to keep your arms out and either spoil or go for a mark. So unfortunately, braces laid Ed, and I thought he was always going to be in trouble.
Jimmy?
I'm with Lloydie. I think as soon as it happened, with the temperature around concussion, with collisions, as soon as you leave the ground, he got him in the head. I thought he's in trouble. But for me, I don't like seeing players suspended off slow motion. I know we'll touch on that shortly, but if you're in the tribunal, I think it needs to be played at full game speed, so you get actual understanding of how difficult it is for Peter Wright. He's committed to the ball. 2 metre Peter, 100 plus kilograms, flat out. It's split-second things, and I'd rather judgment's been done on that.
We're going to come back to this, but let's have a look at the Marbiel Chol situation and May at Melbourne. Roll the videotape here, and this is just a standard marking contest. Now, Chol didn't do anything wrong. I think I've been misreported on a few of these things, but the idea there is, again, it's the player coming into the space as opposed to the player going at it. Now, as it turns out, that's play on, as we always know. But May gets up with 3 broken ribs and a crack in his vertebrae. Wow. You know, that's pretty
He's
tough.
effectively the ruckbag in that moment, isn't he? And he knows he is. Yeah. It's courageous to do it, but the onus of responsibility is the point.
So you're big on duty of care with that guy coming back.
And I don't know where it lands, but stick with me, because we're going to get through it, and we'll finish it up with a bit of vision that I want to talk to after we hear from some coaches. So let's hear the coaches. This is on AFL 360. Adam Simpson sitting there watching this, and also Ken Hinkley, and they were asked, what do you coach? Well, I'll tell you what they coach. Go flat out at the ball. Have a look.
I think the awareness piece is, some players have it, some don't. A lot of these incidents are guys protecting themselves at the last minute, and it's hard to stop that. But these things are always going to be there, where it's just that split-second decision where you need to take your eye off the ball because you feel contact coming and it looks like it's a deliberate act.
You've just got to go at the ball at all costs. Yeah, I heard you talk before. You've got to compete in the air for the ball, and if you're not competing for the ball and you get it wrong, you're going to pay a really big price. And I get why.
Let's make the ball your objective. Now, Peter will respond to me and say, I did. You can make the ball your objective, but if you think you can hold your hands out and take a chest mark with someone running into you, that your instinct's always going to be to protect yourself. So players are in an incredibly difficult position, but we also understand the environment that we're operating within.
So I get that. I don't know what Peter Wright would have done in a week where it was the Essendon edge. And you remember last year when Parker did that one to the Essendon players? I mean, that would have been tucked away down at the hanger. So in that situation, let's roll the videotape on John Longmire, what he had to say, the Sydney coach.
The only thing I found a little bit interesting was when some of the blame got directed at Harry. Now, I think that was maybe a little bit unfair. But, the main thing is, as I said, from my perspective, that he's feeling really good, and his health and well-being is always at the forefront of us.
OK, so I think that was off our podcast, because I spoke to Andrew Pridham about it and we had a good conversation. The Sydney Swans were absolutely red hot. They had the red mist going about Essendon going after them, and they believed in their heart of heart that Wright lined him up and ran through him. OK, so that's where they were. Now, that's when you're in the football environment, you're looking after your people, so I can understand where it was. So, Lloydie, let me roll this and then I'll get your thoughts. So what we've done, I've slowed this down on the duty of care, right? So Eric, that comes through. We've seen that. Now, let's watch it from the other angle. We'll just have a few stops. Well, it's not the one that I wanted, but anyway, we'll go with it. So, see that? At this stage, hold it there. Whose duty of care is it at that stage, at that split second? The point I'm making is I think the AFL has to come in with a rule, because no player's going to pull out. We just heard the coaches say, go flat out. So they're saying, yeah, all right, we might get 3 or 4 weeks, but you're not going to stop, and we're going to tell you to go even harder.
So what do you want Cunningham to do?
Well, no, I think Cunningham was 100% right. Yeah. So there's nothing on Cunningham. What I'm saying is, going forward, if this is where we're going to be, then you need to know something. So is it the player coming with the flight of the ball that has the duty of care, or is it the player going the other way that has the duty of care? But I can't be left to think, I hope Lloydie's got a duty of care, because I think I'm going to go here.
The way the world works, though, Ed, and it is in footy as well, it's whoever does the damage has got the duty of care.
Yeah, but... again,
and that doesn't make it right. I get that.
Yeah, so I agree with you. But again, the injuries that we've seen so far have been onto the player who's coming in. because they have been browbeaten into having to have crazy courage. In the old days, a player would look at that and go, all right, we'll stand and stop, right? Now, that's what we want to do now. Now, I won't use Cunningham as an example because that's a bit fraught at the moment. But let's say May. If he had gone, oh, it's going over my head here, Chol's going to run right through me, I'll stop and stand on the mark. Last week, everyone would have said he pulled out, didn't have a go.
Do you reckon we would say? I reckon we've moved on.
Well,
I think we've matured.
I think we've moved on this week. But I think that, you know, I reckon if Peter Wright had pulled out after the Essendon edge and all that in that situation, he would have been pilloried because people have questioned his intent at the ball in the past. I just think what we need to do is help players have a get-out clause on what they're doing as opposed to you pulled up and you're a jib.
Lordy, I was talking to some coaches in the off-season and I think there has been a softening on what they expect in those moments. You lived this. You had a coach who demanded everything every time you went against someone to hurt, and that was what was happening at the time. Take us through what you're going to highlight here.
This is one, Damo, where I was ready to line Chris up. This is when the rules... Chris Judd, they were starting to know, and I knew that Buddy Franklin actually had been suspended not far off. So I'm looking to line him up. And at the last second, I say, no, if I kick Chris Judd in the head, I'm going to be missing 4 weeks. So I actually opened my chest up and thought to myself, no, I can't go that way. I'm just going to go that way.
And you recall that moment?
And I recall the moment, just splits like it's yesterday, that I thought, no, I'm going to be suspended. So I'm just going to take the hit straight down the front. And so Peter Wright's options from here are to open himself up and be hit down the front or to pull out. So
let me put that in English then. So in trying to stop concussions, you would have got 2 concussions if Wright had a pull out.
We were both concussed.
You were both concussed, but in that one, Wright and Cunningham would have been concussed.
Well, the other thing that Peter didn't do, he actually saved Harry Cunningham greater damage. That the knee could have come up and driven straight through.
But he'd get away with that.
Yeah.
So that's what, in a sense,
So that's what I'm saying is that there needs to be, you know, whether, I said give way and people took that the wrong way. Cunningham did nothing wrong. Cunningham did everything right, including showing amazing bravery. But I just think that we've gone too far on this bravery aspect that we're actually now reckless. That wasn't reckless. He was going for the ball instantaneous. There was no worries with that. But I'm trying to find a way for a player to be able to justify an action rather than being told he's a jib.
That's a good conversation.
I've always been hard on players, but if a player on the wing pulls out because they feel they've just, OK, I don't think we'll have a crack at it anymore.
No, but we did.
We did.
And Tom Lonergan's got 1 less kidney because of it.